Hello and welcome to today's YouTube tutorial from Peakboard. In this video I want to show you how you can use your Excel data to create a digital interactive shift book for your production. How this works I will show you now. I'm here starting in the Peakboard Designer by adding a rectangle from the top to our canvas for adding the headline. Here I change the color and remove the corner radius. As next I will add text where I will just enter the headline. So in that case I would like to call it Digital Shift Book. I center it and change the font here. As next I want to show a clock here on the top right, so for that I just add a time data source. Let's just call it time and change the format to hour and minute, and let's remove the rest of it. I click here on OK and drag the time also on the canvas. Again I will center it, in that case to the right side, align it to the right side and change the font to header 1 again, and that's it. As next I want to receive my Excel data. Before this I would like to show them first in Excel. These are my Excel data. I have here 3 different production lines. We work in 3 shifts, early, late and night shift, and from Monday to Saturday. These are the persons who are responsible for the corresponding line and the corresponding shift. So let's close it and go back to the Peakboard Designer. Here I click on data and I add an Excel data source. I call it Shift Plan. For source type I select Office 365 because in my case this is stored in our SharePoint. So I don't use OneDrive, which is for my personal documents, but SharePoint library. Let's click here on OK. First I need to authorize against Microsoft. After signing in, I can select my file from the folder structure. Now I've selected it, click here on the OK button, and what I need to do now is to load my worksheets. In my case I just have one worksheet in my Excel file. Click here on Load Data and here you see the Excel data I've showed you before. Let's click on OK and place this data source as a table here on our canvas. I move it to the right position and increase its size. Now let's change some visual styles here. So for example I want to increase this cell padding, and also this header color should be the same as the top header. Now by double click I can go into the settings of the columns. In that case I want to remove the caption of the first one and the second one. I fully want to remove the Sunday because we don't work there. And I want to change the size of the first both columns so that I want to set them to 140 pixels. Now it's looking way better. Now let's add some logic. I want to show if someone is away today to mark him red so that we directly can see we need to do something here. For this let's click here again on the table and here on the cell tab. But before that I first need to add a variable list. I call it away and now let's add a variable list for adding all the persons who are not there today. So I call this list away and I create one column that I just call name. Now let's go back to the table and go here to the cell tab event, which is every time happening when someone clicks on a cell. Here I want to first check if in the new created list way already someone is with the name we have then in the column name and in the cell we just tapped. I get this by checking into this checking in the shift plan with the current clicked row and the the current clicked column. So in that I find out the name I've just clicked. Let's take this one and add it to a variable. Let's call it clicked cell. And I just put it here back. In the case the list, the away list already contains that name, then I want to remove this name to deselect it from the away persons. So in that case I go here to list manipulation and remove row, and I want to remove the row on the index of the clicked cell in the column name. If not, so if there is no one in this list with the name, then I want to add this name. And at the end I want to reload the shift plan to re-render our table. Let's click here on save and close. And now I want to have also a data row loaded event. Here I go over all the columns we have. This one is raised for every single row, so I just need to go over the columns because it's already done for all rows. And in the case this one contains that name, then we want to mark it red. So in that case I check again in the away table if in the column name already someone is with that name. I get the name by the index again. So first the index of my event. So this one is, as I said, happening for every single row, and then for my column, which I just got here from my loop. In that case I want to mark it red. So in that case I go here to columns and the index, and for the cell control background I want to set the color. Take it from text, so I can also do it here from that side. It's maybe a bit easier. And let me just replace this hex code for the color. I click here on save and close, and that's basically all I need to do. One last thing I would like to do is to highlight this line 2 to separate the lines a bit better. In that case I just place a rectangle over it and put it into the background. Now we're done. Let's click on preview to check out if it's working. So here we go. We have the names here. We can click on them to mark them red. Now we can directly see if someone is missing, and we may need to act here. If you don't want to use the shift plan data from an Excel file, but you want to set it completely up, you can also just use our template from the templates.peakboard.com, download it and work with a full working shop floor board storing your information in our Peakboard Hub server. Thanks for watching and see you next time.